Welcome back to Law and Crime yet again here this afternoon. Aaron Keller along with you for the next 2 hours as we break down the so-called Hollywood Ripper case out of California. This is where defendant Michael Gargiulo is accused of a series of stabbings, one involving a victim who had a relationship, a friendship, many people say, with the actor Ashton Kutcher. He testified in this trial. We couldn't show it to you because California only allowed cameras in the proceeding during the openings, the closings, and the verdict. But it is a fascinating case with someone accused of being a serial killer, not just in California, but also in Illinois. A lot of those connections came into this case. Let's listen to how the prosecution kicked the case off. Horrible series of allegations here in the so-called Hollywood Ripper serial murder trial. Let's bring in Michael Troiano from Las Vegas, Eklund Mercy from Atlanta, Georgia, back with me. So Eklund, look, the accusations in this are just absolutely horrific. This idea that somebody is sneaking into an apartment by crawling up through the outside of the building and attacking young women. I mean, it's horrid. And when prosecutors are able to try cases together like this, it's just more likely that we're going to see a guilty verdict.
Yes, yes. And when you have big name stars like Ashton Kutcher as one of the witnesses, is pretty much a slam dunk for the prosecution. This is, I mean, the facts of this case read like a Lifetime movie. It's very, very disturbing, and it's very unfortunate for the victims and the victims' family.
Exactly. So Michael Troiano in Las Vegas here. Horrific accusations. Does the defense have any shot at trying to fight back at this? We've got DNA. We've got a surviving victim who's able to get up there and testify. As Eklund said, it reads like a novel or a movie that we just don't really want to watch in real life. But prosecutors just have a lot of evidence on their side.
Absolutely. I mean, to answer your question, is there a shot? There's always a shot, a possibility, but highly unlikely. I mean, it's just the evidence is overwhelming. The story makes sense. His maniacal, psycho thriller, sexual killings, the history, the ability to bring in the murder charges or the murder accusations, if you will, from Illinois. It paints a very complete, accurate, and detailed story for the prosecution.
Exactly. Let's listen to how the defense tried to kick this case off. This is the defense opening statement. That's how the defense began this case of the so-called Hollywood Ripper, the defendant, Michael Gargiulo, accused of killing 3 and trying to kill 1 there in California. Let's bring the panel into this one. Eklund Mercy. This is a relatively common defense tactic here, basically taking a case and saying, okay, you need to look at each charge in isolation and force the prosecution to hold its burden on each and every element of each charge. And by doing that, you have to force yourself to look at the timeline, make sure it makes sense, make sure the motive makes sense, all these other things. Again, myopic slices at the state's case with the hope from the defense that you can cut apart the state's case by all of the little potential inconsistencies within it.
Absolutely. You're just trying to carve out some reasonable doubt. So you want to make sure that the state proves every single element of every single crime that they charge. So that can actually give the defense some type of reprieve. So you have he is charged with first-degree murder. So the elements of first-degree murder needs to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt, every single element. That is what the criminal justice is supposed to do. However, it's kind of hard when you have such a high-profile case. It's kind of hard when you have a Hollywood. You have this Hollywood. You have Ashton Kutcher as one of the witnesses, testifying that he knew one of the victims and he actually was about to have a date with one of the victims. Like, these things can cloud a jury's judgment. These can cloud a jury's can kind of force a jury to just convict. So the defense is saying, hey, take everything into consideration. Don't just take all the stuff that the prosecution is throwing at you, but make sure that it falls in line with the elements of each and every crime charge.
Okay, Michael Troiano, again, let's talk about the tactics here. How did you take the defense opening?
I thought it was put very eloquently before the jury. Again, when you're on the defense side, you only have so many options. It's not as if the attorney in this particular matter could make up or change the facts. You have multiple victims, very similar circumstances, and when there's not an overwhelming amount of inconsistencies that you could throw out to the jury in your opening, you really just need to harp on and educate them as far as what their duty is as a juror, and that is to not prejudge and wait for the defense to have their opportunity to cross-examine and expose those holes in the case.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to take a break here on the Law and Crime Network, and we're going to push forward with our analysis of the case of the so-called Hollywood Ripper in just a moment. Stay with us. This is For the Record.